Um, the combination of Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso is going to be a problem.
Angel Reese has had a fairly impressive rookie season, but there's still a lot of room for improvement in her game, especially in her ability to finish around the basket. Fans are seriously questioning her basketball fundamentals as she has an atrocious ability to finish around the basket with efficiency. She is shooting a horrific 40.2% from the field, and is even shooting below 50% on shots less than 5 feet from the basket, and is shooting a terrible 13% on shots 5 to 9 feet from the basket. Some of these layup attempts are really bad, and a lot of these layup attempts aren't even hitting the rim, and she's within 3 feet of the basket. And it's not something that has happened once, it has happened multiple times, 13 instances to be exact in this video alone. So let's get into it.
Little boozy badasses. Car washing cousin. Fulan Speaks Sports thinks that it's not a big deal that Angel Reese was blocked 8 times as a power forward in a single game because her team won the game despite her usual giraffe-like performance. He, like many other delusional people who follow Angel Reese and defend her role on the Chicago Sky, somehow deluded himself into thinking that the Chicago Sky victory against the sorry and abysmally coached Dallas Wings team brought some sort of upside for the Chicago Sky. In reality, once the Chicago Sky begin to play real teams like Minnesota, Seattle, and New York, they will get outplayed again, as they will be able to easily deal with a poorly skilled player like Angel Reese on both ends of the floor. Fulan also thinks that it is not important to criticize players if they are on the winning team, even if they have very questionable stats, because to him stats are for losers. Someone needs to let this nutbag know that. No. Not all winning is the same, and that winning against the bottom feeder team is not going to take away the criticism of a starting player's gameplay. When a player, especially a big, is blocked 8 times in one game, there should be monumental criticism of their game, but this does not happen because Angel Reese is a charity case. People just want to talk about Angel Reese because they feel that she deserves to be mentioned alongside Caitlin Clark, and think that because Angel was on a stacked championship team in college, that it gives her some type of edge over Caitlin Clark. When we look at these two individual players, there is a stark difference, as Clark is an obvious franchise player who was able to pull the Indiana Fever into playoff contention in her rookie year. This was a team that could not figure out how to get to the playoffs for almost a decade in the Indiana Fever, and were a joke of a team just a year before Caitlin Clark's arrival, even with having Aaliyah Boston the Rookie of the Year there the year prior. Angel Reese, on the other hand, is not the difference maker on her team, and is leading her team to another stinker. She plays a game that would be good if she was great at finishing at the rim, but she is not. So she takes away from the flow of the offense. In reality, Angel Reese needs to be sent away from the league and detained in a Reebok gulag where her eyes are held open and she is forced to witness her layup lowlights with no chance of escaping. She needs to have a Space Jam type court built for her next to her podcast studio that allows her to go all out in practice and improve her post skills and her touch around the rim. Angel Reese is clearly a personality hire at this point for the WNBA, who have had trouble marketing their star players, which has kept their league quite stagnant. Fulan Speaks Sports also thinks that Angel Reese is a top 25 player in the W, which is a drug test-worthy offense. Angel Reese is one of the least efficient players at her position, even though her teammates constantly look to give her the ball in the post. She is not good at dribbling, shooting, layups, nothing but getting rebounds, which is what her enablers will use to hang their hats on. When looking at her rebounds, they are selfish rebounds where she will try to get 3rd, 4th, 5th putbacks right under the rim instead of passing the ball out and restarting the offense. Camila has to play sidekick to this overgrown kindergarten-style player, and it is no wonder why the team is being tortured with the losses that they have accumulated. There are some people like Fulan who will tell you that Angel had a good rookie year with a straight face, and that she was right there with CC22 in the race for Rookie of the Year. Mind you, there were players fouling Reese on purpose. Ahem. Cough cough. Nafisa, yes, I'm talking about you. All this was done so that she could get her double-double stats, because that was the only way she could stay in any Rookie of the Year conversation. Angel Reese is not skilled enough to maintain her side of the rivalry, and this is honest truth. In reality, Angel should be coming off the bench to set screens and get rebounds of other players' shot attempts. She should not be scoring or asking for the ball to score unless there is an obvious lead. The more exposure Angel Reese gets, the harder it's going to be on her, and the more she will have to work on her game to gain respect from sports fans. Fulan Speaks Sports wants you to think that he is a fan who is concerned with how hyped Caitlin is and has come to some strange conclusion that CC's high ranking is disrespectful to the league and the alleged abundant amount of talent within the league. Caitlin is certainly a top 5 player and the best point guard in the WNBA in her second year. CC has had her early struggles as she was playing through injury and having to deal with the usual full-court defense, but was able to hold her own with teams like the Liberty and the Atlanta Dream. Fulan Boozy Badass meets Aries Spears Fusion Dance doesn't understand that 0 of these other players contribute to their teams in the way that Caitlin does, and that they can afford to have bad games because they have others who can hold their weight. You see Caitlin Clark's effect now, with the Fever losing to the Connecticut Sun in Caitlin's absence. If you were to drop someone like Sabrina on the Indiana Fever in exchange for Caitlin, you would not see Sabrina be able to pull the team and carry them to the extent that Caitlin does. Sabrina would end up abusing those poor Filipino sweatshop laborers who make her sorry sneakers after 5 games of playing with Caitlin's roster. There is also the aspect of the poor officiating that plays into the outcome of these games. As we see with the finals between the Liberty and the Lynx, the Liberty benefited from many sketchy calls, and everyone saw how. Kathy, the Screw Missioner, just happened to be wearing an outfit with Statue of Liberty designs on it. Caitlin Clark is worthy of her fame and her contributions to her team even this early in her career, with all the records that she has set in the league. Caitlin Clark has pulled the WNBA out of the dark ages and tried to give it legitimacy.